Okay, YouTubers, this is Joe from ArtAlienTV. Now, today I've got something weird to show you. I'm not really sure what this is. It looks to me like a part of a boat or some kind of weird structure that's totally blown to pieces and smashed up, and is in this area here, right? Now, this is Sol 3908, and I've got a Gigapan that I put together here. Here's the actual object here. I'll show you that first, full screen, so we can see it properly. Now, this is a very strange image because it looks to me like they've really muddied up this picture, and you can see the raw image here, and this is enhanced, the colour. I've got a raw version of the Gigapan here, which is extremely muddy and very dark. And when you look at it, it's almost impossible to see any of the shapes. And I'm absolutely sure, and I've been saying this for many years, that the reason they use this orange filter is to bleach out the detail. In other words, it makes everything look the same. It's very hard to determine shapes, sizes, and form of objects on the ground when they're all the same colour like this. It's not good. But you can get around that by using colour correction, which is what I do, and fade correction or something like that, and then add brightness to it. And here it is up here. Now, in this part, we've got what looks a bit like an upturned boat here. And then next to it, we have this really strange box kind of section here attached to this thing. Now, I really don't know what this is. I'm going to probably call this a boat wreck because that's what it looks like. It doesn't mean it is. Now, this material looks like it may be concrete or some kind of metal. This looks like concrete here, this part, and this does as well. But this thing here may be metal that's corroded, because we got like an edge, like a ridge here and another ridge here coming down. It's really hard to get your head around this because the image is such poor quality. I almost wasn't going to bother showing this, but it's a very strange thing, and it doesn't make any visual sense as a natural geological formation because we have different coloured material here and here joined together. In other words, we have this very dark, weird coloured material in this box shape, and then right in front of it we have this very light material that is attached. Now, if this was a natural geological formation, all this would be the same colour and tone and luminosity, but we have very different tone, colour and luminosity here and here, okay? The box part that I've highlighted here is very angular and has this weird triangular kind of hole in it here with a kind of square around it. It has another slit here or slot, and these weird angular parts attached to it. This is almost perfectly straight. We've got a straight edge here, straight edge here. We've got straight edges in here, which are nicely angled. And we've got angled parts here, right? If I show you that on the Gigapan, I'll use the magnifier, and it kind of looks better with the magnifier because I've put this on here as well. And it kind of makes more sense when I show it with the magnifier. So I recommend this magnifier to anyone who hasn't got it. It's called SUPERZOOM. You can get it from pretty much any browser. There are different ones you can get as well. Some are kind of, you can have as rectangles or squares. But this one I like because it doesn't enlarge the pixels. It only enlarges the image, which is really cool, right? And if we look at this up close, you can really see these angles here. We've got a straight edge with a kind of triangle part here. We've got this triangular hole with a square around it. We got this slot here, we got this straight edge here, and then we have these angular parts here, which are very rectangular, joined to this kind of triangular part there. We got a very straight edge here, we got a straight edge on the back, we got a straight edge here. This has got way too much straight symmetry in it for it to be a natural object, and the fact that this part of it is a completely different colour to this part dictates that this is a manufactured object that's been attached to this. Okay? Now, I don't know what it is. It could be part of a boat, could be part of a structure, I don't know. It could be part of something else. I really don't know. But it doesn't look natural. It looks very, very unnatural, I would say. And I don't know what to call it. I'd probably call it a boat wreck or something. I've got to give these things titles just to give people an idea of what they're going to see when they watch the video. And also I can then categorise these items in my vast catalogue of playlists and on my website and everything else, where I've got everything categorised into different things, okay? So this is why I give these things names, because it's a lot easier to reference things if they have a name or some kind of title, okay? So that was it, really. What I'll do is I'll quickly flick through the clips I've got for you, full screen, to save me having to put them all in at the end, because this way you get to see it in its full size, and for those on mobile devices, it just makes it better. Here's the actual meme I've done, and you can really see that this ovoid object here has this kind of weird material in a ridge along the back of it, and another ridge in the middle, almost like an upturned boat. And then this thing over here, which I've highlighted in the top right corner, is very, very strange and looks totally artificial, I would say. And you can see these angles in here and a triangle hole. I mean, how would a natural geological formation have a triangle hole like this, a black one, with a square kind of bluish thing around it? And then these weird angular parts. It simply doesn't make any geological sense, okay? Here it is, basic enhancement. I really struggle with the colour on this because the colour is so terrible. The orange filter has really done its job here and obscured most of the detail. You've got to really clean it up. Here's a negative. You can see that box shape and how angular and straight these parts are, okay? There it is again. Here's a further back view, and you can see that boat-shaped thing there, upturned. But this, I think, was probably joined maybe to this thing here. But this seems to be a different type of material. It's got much more layers to it, and looks more like concretion or concrete. And when we have this weird thing here, which looks a bit like a blue kind of head or helmet or something, very strange. Too small to determine what it is, a lot of this stuff. Here's a closer one. Here's the actual Gigapan, which has been enhanced, colour enhanced. There it is. Very strange. And we've got these weird parts here and here with kind of steps and angled parts here. Very strange stuff going on here. Lots of cross sections and what look like ruined boxes or rooms or chambers here as well. Lots of weird stuff. This is like a wrecked building or something, some kind of wreckage. And it doesn't look natural. It really doesn't. So there's the Gigapan. Here's the other part of the thing. This is a real close-up now. Now this is raw. You can see how terrible this image is to work with. So what you do is you colour correct it and then brighten it like this. And it goes bluer. It still looks pretty bad at this distance because we're too close, but you can really see that triangle part here and this angled part here, the slot here, and these angled straight edges on this thing. Could this be metal? It could well be. It may be corroded metal we're looking at. There's a further back raw clip, enhanced. The colour's gone really weird on this one. It's very difficult to get the colour right on these. The orange filter basically covers up all the greens, and it makes everything go this weird kind of orangey colour when you change the contrast. It's pretty dreadful. There's another clip, another one here, negative. Look at these angles, how straight they are, Completely artificial. I don't see how that could possibly be a natural rock formation. There it is again. So that was it really. A real short one today. And if you haven't seen it already, I do recommend you go and see this video. Mars alien craft spotted, flying V UFO. Now I've done a couple of versions of this video and it's not getting shared. Now I sent this image to all the press worldwide, hundreds and hundreds of outlets all over the world, 3 times now. And none of them would print it. And this includes some kind of paranormal straight UFO magazines and stuff like that. None of them. I sent it to Coast to Coast AM, loads and loads of like alternative news outlets, not just mainstream. Not one of them would show it. Why is that? Why will they not show this image? For some reason, none of them will show it. They are determined to keep what is going on above the Mars surface and in the Mars atmosphere, as well as on the ground. They're determined to keep it under wraps. They're very keen on showing all these interviews with David Grusch. I call it the Grusch Rush, which is largely a load of BS. A lot of the things he's saying, we've known for 30, 40 years. The same playbook is coming out, the same script is coming out. He is being heavily scripted. And I'm not to say a lot of the stuff he's saying isn't true. I think a lot of it is true. But there's a lot of nonsense in there that is purely there to scare people and turn it into a threat narrative. Okay, so the Grusch Rush is real. It is a type of disclosure, but it's heavily scripted, and he's being run by the CIA and by military intelligence, and basically is only telling us what they want us to know, not what is actually going on. And this image, I would say, as I've said before, is probably one of the most important images ever taken on Mars. Now, the rover takes these NAVCam images. Both rovers do, actually. They take thousands of them. Why are they so keen on taking thousands and thousands and thousands of images of the skyline? What are they expecting to see on Mars? Right? If there's nothing but rocks on Mars, they should just be taking pictures of the geology they're doing on the ground, like when they drill holes. But they don't. They take endless images, not only of the ground, but of the skyline, the horizon, with these NavCam images. On both rovers, they do it. Why do they do that? They're taken in short sequence, in burst fire, okay? So they'll take 10 or 20 or 30 shots of the skyline in the course of a minute or over a few minutes. Sometimes they're 30 seconds apart or 27 seconds. Sometimes they're 3 or 4 seconds apart. But they take these endless sequences of film footage. These are actual film frames. They're not necessarily single frame shots. Because they're taken quite close together, you can animate them and see things moving around, okay? And in this video, you can see this thing moving around as well. You can see it moving off and coming back again, okay? The still shots are quite a long distance apart. They're about 27 seconds apart. But you can see this thing is moving around. So this is an actual flying object on Mars, and none of the press will show it. Why is that? They're really keen to give us all this Grusch nonsense, the Grusch Rush, or the gush for David Grusch, Rush, whatever, right? They're really keen on that, but they're not very keen on printing or pushing anything like this. And in the negative, you can really see what this thing is. It's angled. It's not a bird. It's very angled, and it's got these straight parts to it here, sticking out, okay? That's not a bird. This is a drone. Maybe manned, probably not. And some people have said, oh, how can you say this is an alien craft? Well, it's on Mars, right? Saying this is one of ours is like saying that all aircraft on Earth are Martian. Why wouldn't this be alien? this is Mars, right? And I've looked at hundreds of images of drones and aircraft, which I've always done all my life. Probably thousands, I would say. Thousands and thousands of images of drones, especially recent ones that have been designed by us and the Chinese and Russia, everything. And none of them match. And none of the aircraft that we have match this. I estimate the size on this thing to be around 8 to 20 feet. I don't know. I don't know exactly how far away it is. But it's not very large. I would say it's less than 10 feet wingspan. But it could be 20 or 30 and just further away. But it seems closer because the detail's reasonably good. You can see quite sharp edges on this part here, which means that this isn't that far away. If this was much further away, this would be much more rounded and blurry. This thing is moving quite fast, but probably less than 100 miles an hour, and is swinging round to avoid the object above it, okay? Which you'll see in a second. It's insane, and none of the press will show it. And when I've uploaded this video in 3 different formats now, and it's hardly been viewed or shared on YouTube. YouTube's obviously not keen on it either, right? So Mars is still the most censored planet in our solar system. Probably along the moon stuff, there's not so much for some reason. And here's the projectile coming towards it. And some people have said, how could you possibly say that's a projectile? I mean, well, it is. You can see what it is, right? You don't need movie footage to figure out what this is. It's a clear image of a winged craft with another object going right towards it, right? And you can even see it on the actual page here. This is the NASA page, right? So this is genuine. So that was it really. So do watch that if you haven't seen it. It goes into a lot more detail and you can see all sorts of crazy stuff. And there are loads of crazy things on the ground that I've shown over the years. So if you're new to this channel, do check out my previous videos and check out the link to my website, ArtAlien.TV as well. Check that out. You can just type that in and it'll come up. I've got proof of a previous civilization on Mars and activity on Mars now, going back about 10 years now on my channel, okay? And this is yet more evidence, this thing here, of structures on the ground which are unnatural, which are not natural geology, okay? So thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking with me. My voice is back, although it's still not quite right. It turned out I had a bit of an allergy to decaffeinated coffee, which was actually killing my voice, which is absolutely insane, I know, but that's what it was. So I'm almost back to normal now, so more of voiceover videos will be coming in the next few days and months, so stick with it. And please share that UFO video I just showed you. Please share it, okay? Because the mainstream media are determined not to show it. Even a lot of the alternative media, which would usually publish my stuff straight away, are not showing it. So I don't know what's happened there, but something weird is going on. It's almost as if a lot of these companies have been taken over by somebody who wants to keep all this stuff quiet, okay? So there we are. So thanks for watching, everybody. Let me know what you think this is, because this is, I really do think this is not natural, and it may be part of a structure, but I know a lot of you are like engineers and builders and all sorts out there and are really good at sussing these things out. So please leave a comment below. Thanks for watching, and I will see you soon.